call the joint meeting of the Rules and Open Government Committee and Committee of the Whole to order for Wednesday, October 21st. And Toni, if we can have a roll call, please.
Arenas?
Here.
Davis? Camus?
Here.
Jones?
Here.
Licardo absent.
All right. So we have a quorum. So we'll go ahead.
It looks like Licardo's not absent.
He looks like he's in his car.
So since he's showing up, we'll say he's here. How's that?
Okay.
All right. So we're going to start out with the agenda for Tuesday, October 27th. And we're going to start out on pages 5 and 6.
Vice Mayor, it looks like Councilmember Davis is here as well.
I'm here.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
7 and 8.
And I'm also joined. Sorry.
Quite all right. None of you are going to distract me from getting through this meeting. So give me your best shot. All right. 8 and 9. 10 and 11. 12 and 13. And just so everybody knows that item 7.1 has a not before 5 p.m. And Toni, I know that it's a later item on our rules agenda, but this is a good example of a meeting where we're going to need translation services.
Thank you. I'll note that.
Okay, thank you. Pages 14 and 15. Pages 16 and 17. So I'm going to go to the public. And we have one public speaker, Blair.
Hello, happy Wednesday. Blair Beekman here. It's another week of our lives together. Thanks for the meeting. And thank you that you're going to be having, I think it's next week, you're going to be having, talking about homeless issues and trying to create a dialogue with the community about homeless issues. And Landiep, I think, very nicely framed what to expect of the conversation in some ways. And that was kind of nice of him to kind of put a framework around it. You know, I mean, the homeless issues, the trash issues are worrisome issues. And you know, it's my hope that we're trying to understand the situation and the patients needed to have good dialogue on the subject and dialogue with the homeless themselves. And that takes effort and work from everyone. And it was really described that patients is starting to wear thin with it. Landiep and others, you know, tried to help that yesterday and how we can talk about it and have good strength, I guess, maybe to talk about it and work on it. So good luck in how we do next week. Good luck in your efforts. You know, this is a difficult few months, and November might be, there might be some difficult moments. I've tried my darndest to really make it a good month and the next few months. And interestingly, with the pig episode at the beginning of the month, the pig item, City Council and City Government has been a little bit uncomfortable with myself. And I hope we can clear that up between each other. I'm trying to offer my good self, and I hope you can trust that. I mean, I've been here for 5 years now. I hope we can learn to trust each other. Thank you.
Thank you, Blair. I'm going to bring it back to the committee. And Councilmember Arenas, and if you make the motion, can you include a sunshine waiver for an ad sheet?
So moved. Vice Mayor, I was hoping that we could also talk about 3.5. I apologize, I didn't call it out as we were reviewing
No worries.
10. But this is a redistricting commission. I'm thinking that we're probably going to have a lot of community feedback around that. So it would be wonderful to also have a not before 5.
Okay. I'm fine with that. If, well, both 3.5 and 7.1 are going to have a lot of community input. So I'm fine with it. If the other members of the committee are okay, we'll make that not before 5 as well.
Yeah, and then we could also make it time certain if my colleagues feel more comfortable that way. I think there's enough items for us to fill the time between 1:30 and 5. But you know, I'm really open. I just love to be able to accommodate our community.
Okay. Would you be receptive to a time certain of, say, 4? Is that too early?
Yeah, I think, yes, Vice Mayor. I'd like to see more community participation, and that only can happen when we have evening hours. And even though we are Zooming, telecommuting, not everybody gets to benefit from that. And so folks still need to kind of clock out at 5 or 6.
Okay. So your motion is for both 3.5 and 7.1 to be not before 5, if that.
Right, and I think 7.1 is already part of the agenda, not be heard before 5 p.m. So I don't know if I need to include that in the motion, but I'm happy to do so.
Okay, it's not necessary, but I just wanted for our colleagues just to know that there's 2 items that are not before 5, but it's not necessary to include in your motion. And I didn't hear a second.
I think, Vice Mayor, the mayor and I both have our hands up, and I think we want some clarification on the motion. I know I have a question, but I'm not sure which of us. You can call in Sam first.
Actually, I'm
Why don't you go to Deb first? Deb probably has a better question.
Or it may be the same question. I guess I was thinking if we're gonna have 2 items, not before 5, maybe it would be better to have, Vice Mayor, I know the item 7.1 is in your district. If you have a sense of if it will take an hour, then maybe we should have, and that one's already been noticed as not before 5, then maybe we have 3.5 as not before 6, even though that's taking them out of order. And then that gives time for others to come along. There's a lot on here. I'd be shocked if we only had a 5.5 hour meeting anyway. I mean, that's just not what we've been doing for the last 8 months. So I don't think there's any danger of us having a break.
Actually, I think that's a great suggestion. I'm supportive of that.
Okay.
Mayor?
Yeah, I'm kosher with all that.
Okay.
So my motion is going to reflect not before 6 for item 3.5. I really like that recommendation. Thank you, Councilmember.
I'll second that.
All right. It's been moved and seconded, incorporating Councilmember Davis's outstanding suggestion. So, Toni, if we can have a roll call vote, please.
Arenas,
Yes.
Davis,
Aye.
Camus,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Liccardo.
Aye.
All right. On to agenda for Tuesday, November 3rd. And we will start out pages 5 and 6. 7 and 8. Nine and 10. And that's it. There's no ad sheet.
Actually, Vice Mayor, we don't have an ad sheet that went out in time, but based off of council direction yesterday, would like to have the maker of the motion add accept a report on the status of the San Jose Al Fresco program, as well as adopt a resolution amending the declaration from the Director of Emergency Services related to the Al Fresco program. And so that will be put on that agenda based off of council direction yesterday.
So moved, along with the agenda for Tuesday, November 3rd.
All
Second.
right, we have a public speaker, Blair Beekman.
Hi, with this item, there are a couple issues on the agenda about the environment, the airport, the environment, and environmental reporting. And invariably, this will probably have something to do with the city of Santa Clara, I feel. And I just wanted to thank yourselves. This is a time of, we're really thinking about what is cooperative and what's cooperation between each other. Back in January of this year, before COVID really hit, we were having a pretty serious argument in North San Jose about the future of land use up there. And, it involved the VTA, it involved, the environmental community, involved Measure B issues, how to interpret Measure B. And, some wanted, it to be used in one way and others wanted to use another way. All sides really worked well to try to create and find a cooperative middle. And I was just so impressed and amazed by that whole process in the North San Jose area that was by Santa Clara, that had to do with Santa Clara too. And, I just wanted to remind yourselves of it and thank yourselves for it. And just good luck in our cooperative efforts, how we work together when we have differences of opinion. It was really interesting to be a part of. Thank you.
Thank you, Blair, and thank you for being a part of it. Do we get a second on that motion?
Yes, sir. That was me.
All right. So it's been moved and seconded, and I see that the mayor, is your
Yeah,
hand?
I'm always trying to butt in. I'm sorry. I
Sorry.
just had a question. When Lee mentioned that it'd be 2 weeks coming for a change to the order, the executive order, I assume that has to do with the duration or the shutdown of Al Fresco at midnight versus 10 p.m. in the entertainment zone. Is that what that relates to?
Yeah, I think we're going to try and do a few different things with the update. I think the overall extension from March 30th, we're going to push that all the way back to June 30th, as we discussed yesterday. Some additional safety requirements around some of the private property, as well as the hours of extension in the downtown core entertainment zone.
Okay, so the issue that I guess that's the most timely is around extending from 10 to midnight. You don't need council authority for that, right? You guys can just do it.
Nora, I do believe that we're allowed to amend an emergency order as long as it's ratified within 30 days, correct?
That's my understanding, yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
I guess the question would be then, Lee, are you guys willing to issue that with the mindset that the council then would be able to ratify it in 2 weeks rather than waiting until then? Because I know there aren't many warm weeks left in the year, and I'm sure there are a lot of restaurants who would say this is a bad time to be missing out.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. I will follow up with the Office of Economic Development and check in with them on the outreach, but from an administrative standpoint, I don't mind making that change now.
Okay, I really appreciate it. Thank you. Because I know that there would be concern in other parts of the city, but I got the sense that in the entertainment zone and maybe Santana Row, limited number of areas there would be an openness to it.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you very much.
All right, good question. All right. can we get a motion, please? I mean, a roll call, vote, please?
Arenas,
Yes.
Davis,
Aye.
Camus,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Ricardo.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, on to the consent calendar. Let's see.
Motion to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
All right, and we have public speaker, Blair.
Hi, as this item is about disability issues, I've been learning a heartfelt thing the past few weeks that, in the same way, disability issues had a lot to learn, say back in 1979. It was kind of in a tough space, and they really developed a lot of good skills and good thinking by the mid 80s. And we're always impressed when disability advocacy is working well. And with the work I do with accountability and technology, I hope it can be something similar where it's respected, but it's just always kept off to the side. And with so many disability measures and advocacy that needs the help of technology in our local communities in our future, I hope that there can develop a relationship of working together and a hand-in-hand idea that that one can help the other. And it would be interesting to see how that can develop in the next 10 to 15 years. And just trying to predict and see what can be a good future. So thanks for this item. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we get a roll call vote, please?
Arenas,
Yes.
Davis,
Aye.
Camus,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Ricardo.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda is the monthly report of activities for September for the city auditor. Joe?
Good afternoon, Joe Roy, City Auditor. I'm here with our monthly report of activities for September. So in September, we issued our Audit of Development Partners Work in Progress Reserves. We have a number of projects underway, including a few items expected to be or have already been completed in October. The balance of our work plans included in the memo. Happy to answer any questions and I ask you to accept the report.
Thank you, Joe. We have one public speaker, Blair.
Hi. For this item, there are a few items that are of interest to myself. One is that you talked about yesterday, and you talk about here police budgeting for, say, overtime issues. And yesterday, you interestingly talked about recruitment. And there's actually not very much money for recruitment this year. So I guess my theme for this audit report, you also offer ideas of energy and the use of community energy. So it's like you guys are working on the very issues that advocacy, tries to talk about, and it's interesting to see how you do that. And I hope with the police recruitment money, you want to grow it from a $300,000 to an $800,000 level. Why not shoot for a $500,000 level? And I think we're all realizing we can wait every other year for a recruitment process, as San Francisco is doing. Good luck in that work. With the item about clean energy here, it's ideas about risk management with energy itself. Now, I don't know if risk management is the idea of how you purchase energy for certain times during the day, or if risk management is part of an overall package of what energy you will buy for the next upcoming year. And I've been trying to state, pretty clearly that it is time that you have to make those decisions about energy for next year, and that it's really time to start to consider what is our nuclear allotment and why and how do we use nuclear and its financing. And 2023 is a really important year, And I hope that can be talked about more openly. Why is that such a defining year for ourselves, and what we can expect in 2023? Thank you.
Thank you. Bringing it back to the committee. I don't see any hands raised. If we can get a motion to accept the city auditor's report.
Motion to accept this.
I'll give that one to Councilmember Arenas and give you a close second, Johnny. So a close second for a second. How's that?
I'd like an honorable mention.
There you go. All right, Toni, we have a roll call, please.
Arenas, Davis,
Aye.
Camus,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Ricardo.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, next item is city clerk update on public engagement process.
Yeah, this is an update on, I was originally directed to provide interpretation for all council meetings in both languages. And the council meetings have been longer than, than usual. So, and we're not seeing a lot of engagement for every single council meeting. What I am seeing is engagement at council meetings where staff has told me, hey, make sure you have an interpreter for this item. And then those are the ones that we're seeing people actually using the service. So in order to, we've got a COVID crisis, so we don't want to spend all of our money we want to do. We have to focus on the things that, have to be done. We're going back to a request only, where I'm planning on doing more outreach, making sure that if, like, for example, today, Vice Mayor Jones let me know he knows 7.1 is going to need interpretation. I've already contacted the interpreter to make sure we have them. So making sure staff and city council offices both let me know, like, we know this is going to have intensive interest. We want interpreters for it. Seems to be a more efficient use of city funds than interpreting for meetings. We had one meeting, I think there were 13 people in attendance and none of them used the interpretive service because it's only available through Zoom. And so that was like 7 hours of interpreting. That's about $8,000 that for nobody to use it. So in an interest of being fiscally responsible, I brought this back.
No, it's totally reasonable request, Toni. So we have a member of the public, Blair Beekman, that wants to speak on this item.
Hi, Blair Beekman here. It's kind of sad, that we try to work within reason, and we think we're trying to measure out what can be good practices, and then, with all the advocacy around our lives, at this time, sometimes it just swells up and swoops in and says, guys, way wrong, way off, and it hurts when that happens. And this may be one of those times. I totally understand what you're saying. I totally agree with how you want to work with it. It just seems one of those things that this should be kind of a regular feature of a community. And I really hope you guys can make the efforts to want its full return. And it should just be a regular part of our lives. There's a lot of taboo and a lot of voodoo around the subject of having interpretation for a city and for San Jose. And I wish we can break through that. I don't know how we can. I wish we could. And I hope we make the efforts to. I think that should be our future. And I don't think we are simply an English-only future. And that's hard to take for some people. And I hope we can learn those lessons, how it can be easier to be multi-language culture, a multi-language culture. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how else to talk about it this time. And, we're at steps now. I hope, I just hope that there's an enjoyment to it. There's a love to it. And I hope we can find that love and work towards what it's possible and capable of. And in the meantime, we wait. And so thank you for your efforts. And I hope we all can make good efforts in the future that we can have all 3 languages and even more languages for all the items in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Bring it back to the committee. I don't see any hands raised.
Motion
Okay.
to approve.
It's been moved. I need a
Second.
second. Moved and seconded. Thank you. Toni, roll call vote, please.
Arenas,
Yes.
Davis,
Aye.
Camus,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Ricardo.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, next item is approval of City Hall free use on November 17th to November 21st by the mayor's office for the Projecting Hope event.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. I don't see any public comments. Mayor, did you want to say anything or just keep moving?
Yeah, I don't want to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory.
Smart man.
Yeah.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. We have a roll call vote, please.
Arenas,
Yes.
Davis,
Aye.
Camus,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Ricardo.
Aye.
Thank you.
Next item is pension obligation bonds. And I see a member of the public, Blair.
Hi, I think this was the item you had a workshop on last Friday. It was incredibly informative. I just saw like the future and it was nice. I just saw a good, I don't know how to say it. I saw a good Democratic Party future in what can be good practices of the Democratic Party in the next 4 years. And it was just nice and simple and hopeful for myself. And the mayor has talked twice or 3 times, you know, often recently about foreclosure issues that are very possible in the next year. And it just made for myself incredibly clear that for as much effort that we put in to finally get 3088 over the goal line in September, the housing rights measure, housing forgiveness, I guess, it's fallen way short of what it's capable of and what we're working so well and so hard on during this past summer. Ash Kara and David Chu were just doing incredible work. Is my feeling towards those efforts, and we ended up only with AB 3088, which is leaving us in the space that the mayor is now, you know, saying that by next year we're going to be in trouble again. So it just seems clear to me we have to be really open to what good funding measures at the state level, with the help of the HEROES Act and CARES Act ideas, how it can help the local level. And we have to be open and trusting to those ideas and then make good policy out of that instead of we keep trying to cut it up and work around it all the time. And I think we can solve the foreclosure issue if we do that next year. So good luck in your efforts, and thanks a lot for describing it to myself and the public process. Thanks.
Thank you. That's the end of public comments. Before we bring it back to the committee, I know that staff provided an early consideration document. Lee, do you want to speak to that, please? I guess that was a question and a request at the same time.
Yes, I could tell. Yeah, you know, Julia Cooper, our Director of Finance, and Jim Shannon are here to speak to the details of the form. The form's a little bit different given the complexity and the hours. This would normally be something that we would yellow light. However, given the potential and the cost savings to next year's budget, which is going to be a difficult budget process for us, we do recommend green lighting it and starting this work sooner rather than later so that you have policy options through the budget process for next year. And if Julia or Jim have anything to add to that, I would ask that they jump in.
Hi, folks. This is Jim Shannon, City's Budget Director. Maybe just a clarification. I mean, depending on the timing, I don't know if the timing would necessarily be for the 21-22 budget process. The validation process takes a while, but it would certainly position us to take advantage of it as soon as it made sense to do so. But I'm not sure really if the timing necessarily work out for 21, 22.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Councilmember Davis.
Thank you. I have a question about kind of timeline. First of all, when will this come to council to be discussed? That's my first question.
I think council member, we finance needs to bring an advisor on staff as well as the city attorney's office. So I don't think we would be really in a position to talk about a real honest timeline until sometime after the beginning of the calendar year. But I know that I looked at the council study session schedule through the end of the fiscal year. And if we can get all of our stars aligned, I think some of the issues that the mayor raised in the memo about questions to be asked and examined, that maybe we could target that last study session as a possibility to come back, which I think is like April 23rd or something like that. So we'll do our best, because we know the study sessions then all turn to budget study sessions in May. So
I was
that
talking
just kind of
about
some internal thinking to try.
Sure. I was talking about more immediately. When is this coming to council to discuss the mayor's memo?
I think that's up to you folks to decide what agenda item you want to put it on.
Lee, do you have a recommendation for that?
I don't believe we have a preference. Julia?
It doesn't matter to us, because we don't really see any additional work other than what we already presented in the early consideration memo.
Okay. Do I understand correctly that kind of what you would be presenting to the full council would be what around the mayor's memo that we are considering today for council would be the same presentation that we received at the Retirement Solutions Working Group?
Actually, I was just going to say, it's when we recommend a green light, we technically don't need council to take action on it. So it can be absorbed into the existing work plan for finance and budget. So it doesn't need to go to the full council.
Okay, so if we pass this today, then you're going to go forward with developing a work plan?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And then so the first time that you would come to council with this would be in the spring? Would be at the study session?
That would be our expectation, unless the council desires us to come in at an interim point with some direction. But it was my envision when I read the mayor's memo that the study session would be around, answering a lot of questions and trying to do some sensitivity analysis and see who else has done POBs and whether they've made sense or not made sense, and kind of much more detailed than what was at the stakeholders group.
Yeah.
And just giving more of a deep dive than what was really just a high level education session. So, that was kind of our expectation in terms of the study session. But then also working concurrently on the any of the legal work that we need to do, so we can kind of work on a parallel path, just so we don't get tripped up in an elongated process. So, and we may need some additional resources, as we pointed out in the early consideration memo. So that's why we're going out through a competitive process, and we'll know whether we can absorb that in our existing budgets or need some additional resources. So, and you'd see that at mid-year.
And so the legal work you're talking about, is that the validation work? You would start that now?
After we brought somebody on board, we theoretically could start drafting the legal documents. If we wait until the council does the full study session work, you won't be able to get those documents till after the after the summer break. So
what I would suggest is that this is a huge deal. This is a big deal.
I do not disagree with you at all, council member.
And so I'm loath to say that the 5 of us in rules should start you down this path without a full discussion, even if it has been green lighted, green lit. Anyway, I think the entire council would benefit from at least the discussion that we had at the Retirement Solutions Working Group. There were only 3 council members there, Councilmember Perales, Foley, and myself, along with the mayor. So I would prefer, and I don't mind going down the path of the validation, but I think that that's a decision that the full council needs to make. And so I would like to agendize this for council action, just because that's a big body of work for you to start, even if it can be absorbed in this year's budget. And I don't want to hold it up, but I don't think, you know, if we meet about it in the next 3 weeks or so, that's going to hold you up that much. So that's number one. And I'll make that motion to accept the mayor's memo with the with the stipulation that it comes to council for a fuller discussion. And then the second question I have is about the mayor's item F. If the council offers a favorable response after the study session, develop the required documentation for council to consider proceeding with the validation and subsequent authorization. And I would ask again that these would be 2 separate things. I think if we talk about it now and we decide we're going to go down the path of validation, I'm still not convinced, and I think that larger study session will help, that we are ready to authorize, and what criteria we would want to put in place to make that authorization, or to actually kind of trip the selling of the bonds.
And you can't trip the selling of the bonds until after the validation is complete.
Right. But we can talk about the criteria for which we would do that. And so I would like, the way they're put together in one sentence sounds like we're going to say yes to validation and authorization at the same time. And I think those should be 2 separate actions for the council.
And they will, and they need to be.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So are you asking for to repeat the full presentation? Because we did an abbreviated presentation last Friday. And you'd like us to do the full presentation that we did to stakeholders, to the full council?
We didn't have we didn't have a full discussion as a council, and I appreciate that we have done that. And I think Julia and Jim, you both are sensitive to the fact that this is an extremely complex endeavor that we are doing, and not one that has been undertaken in this city before, but also not in that many places. So it's not a common occurrence. A bunch of cities have done it, although some cities have, and more recently, more of them have. But I would like our council to have the full discussion before we go down that path. And I'm not even saying I'm against it. I just think I appreciate that this is a large undertaking, and I think the full council should have the discussion about it.
And I appreciate that sentiment, Councilmember Davis. If we pursue this strategy, it's not risk-free.
Exactly.
And we don't know how it's going to turn out. And when people look at our decision in hindsight, regardless of how it turns out, we want them to know that we did our due diligence. So right. I totally respect where you're coming from. Councilmember Camus.
Yeah, no, I appreciate Councilmember Davis's caution, and the fact that we need to go in to something with wide open eyes and understand all the risks before you undertake such a thing. Again, I'm finance world. I understand this possibly better than most, and to me, it seems like a very high risk plan, one that could have high rewards and one that can have high problems. Problem and what I would like staff to do. I may not be here in April, obviously, But you should have the pros and cons and actually have a city or a county. I know that a county of Santa Clara, for example, didn't do so well with their strategy. And they've had to come back to the taxpayers to ask them to bail them out with a half-cent, with a, it was either a parcel tax or a half-cent. Oh no, it was a parcel tax. I remember, I just saw it on my taxes. So I'm gonna bring up my tax, my new tax form that just came, showing you guys the money that they're collecting for their mistakes on that pension obligation bond. So I appreciate Dev's deliberate caution here. My question to you, Councilmember Davis, is when do you want it to come to council? The 3rd, the 10th, the 17th?
I was hoping the 10th, just because I know it's difficult to have a full discussion on the 3rd. I think everyone's attention is going to be elsewhere round about 8 o'clock. So we probably don't want to go too late that day.
And then 10th seems like it can be an
Lee,
intensely long meeting.
So that's where Lee and Julia come in.
yeah, well, I have the benefit of having the City Council Horizon report up in front of me.
Excellent.
And so I think Lee does too. I think the 10th looks really, not to use looks kind of nasty on items. Sorry, guys.
I hate to go with that adjective. It does look crammed.
It looks really
maybe
busy.
not nasty.
It's a two puzzle day.
Forecast that. Yeah, I'm looking at the Horizon report. And I think on the 10th, it is a very heavy agenda. On the 17th, I believe we'll be doing a 3.1. That'll take some time. I'd recommend December 1st. It's not light, but it would allow you guys a little bit of space, given some of the other items, to kind of think about this, given the significance of it.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. So if December 1st is the date, then I'm willing to say yes to the discussion. Again, I've already expressed my my desire to support something like this, even though I think it could, we very well could make good money off of this, but is the risk worth the reward? And that's something that needs to be discussed on a clear head. So I will support the motion to discuss it on December 1st. Did you say, Lee?
Yes.
Yeah.
Julia, does that hold you up too much?
No, we can start. I mean, it's going to take us a few weeks.
We have other activities.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
We're fine.
Thank you.
Great.
I think we lost the mayor at some point.
Well, let's go ahead and vote. Toni?
Lorena, did the mayor leave? Because he did say, he texted to say he had his hand raised, but I see him off the list. So I'm going to.
Yeah.
Arenas?
Yes.
Davis?
Aye.
Camus?
Aye. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Jones?
Aye.
And Licardo's absent.
Okay. So we're on to open forum. Actually, hold on for 1 second. Sam just texted me and said, I'm trying to raise my hand on the pension bond issue, but it's still not working. I don't know if he can hear us or not.
Doesn't look like he's on.
That was the same text I got. He texted both of us at the same time, but he's off the meeting.
Okay. All right, so on to open forum. We have two speakers, Blair Beekman.
Hi, thank you. I guess with cut the commute ideas from last night, please also try to remember that good causes and practices, mass transit ideas have probably helped shape most of our lives.
No, that's okay.
In what should be the reduction of the COVID-19 virus in the next year or two, what can be the return of mass transit? I hope we are at a time to begin to more openly discuss what will be mass transit choices for Santa Clara County in the next few years. We are not fully out of the COVID worries just yet. Please notice what can be safe, good practices, both for your own good health and as ways local government and community can work together to be safe. Please try to remember that good causes and practices, mass transit ideas have probably helped shape most of our lives in some form. With my remaining minute, I'd like to thank you for the meeting. And, just quick reminders that I'm interested in what will be our nuclear energy choices starting in 2023. There's supposed to be a big change at that time or something different. There is also, it's my feeling that the Democratic Party, can be a place that can offer us more openness in choices, both conservatively and progressively, and dealing with the funding issues of the next few years. And I'm interested how that can work out. That's just my feeling about the situation. And about the multi-language issues, it's my personal feeling. I work to try to. Those are some of my first words on this subject openly. And thanks for your patience that I'm trying to work out good words to speak on subjects, which is what I always try to work towards. And thank you for your patience that we can all have to do that sort of thing in the community.
Thank you, Blair. JT?
Yeah, so definitely don't engage the Democratic Party. You'd be alienating a lot of people. When you guys say that you're going to have a 1:30 meeting, it would be nice to have it actually be 1:30. To be very frank, you seem like amateurs when you're showing up half an hour late. And to Lee Wilcox, I think that you need to put in a little bit more time and be a bit more responsive to the people on the council and everyone on staff. You guys need to remember that you're there to support council. You're not above them. You're not below them. They might be your peers, but I appreciate hearing that you will get things done, but I stress you to every day try to think about what you can do more for the council, because again, you are here to serve the council and work with them. And don't forget, they're not here to serve you. Thank you.
Thank you. Timothy?
Hello, my name's Tim Gall. I'm a contractor or I used to be one of the contractors for the golf clubs. About the pigs issue, I just wanted to bring that back up and keep it fresh in your mind that additional damages are happening to private properties as a result of more pigs and their ability to avoid the traps. And I've talked to the general manager of Silver Creek, and he says they're pushing nearly $50,000 worth of damage this year as a result from pigs. And I've talked to the Public Works, answered their question. I have yet to hear from the PD if they have any questions about the subject. And as far as vetting, one of the problems that the PD has brought up, I thought that maybe you could have a background check similar to purchasing a firearm, and then a permit for like 1 year be issued to that licensed trapper, if that would help ease their vetting issues. If you have any other questions, feel free to contact me. Have a good day.
Thank you. That was the last public speaker. This meeting is adjourned. Have a good rest of your day, everyone.